it.
Wow. What?
You got this only nowhere else but Kevin and Zach. Kevin, I'm not going to lie.
Now we're not gonna a carved penguin. There it is.
Oh no. Are the O's fine? Are the Orioles fine, Kevin?
I'm so embarrassed. I'm so embarrassed.
Okay. The Orioles stole it. That game was stolen. It was stolen from them, then they stole it right back.
What?
Oh my God.
Wait, what's going on?
What is
happening?
What is going? Was it a diving play? He bobbled the ball.
What is happening? Are they challenging it? No. Other wall. No.
Kevin, I don't know what you saw, how much you saw. I've been chugging champagne. Sure, I spilled a lot, but what a game, man.
He will be the legendary
Birdfish.
How about that?
Birdfish fans, stand up. We did it.
What can I say? What can I say?
Damn. Well, that sucked. I thought they had it. What's up, guys? Welcome to Kevin and Zach React. I'm your host, Zach Bollinger. Really thought they had that one. When they came back, Rhino Hearn with that big 3-run homer, Earl Weaver special, I thought they had something cooking. They did not. Let's get into the box score real fast. Awesome. Well, so we had Jackson Holliday with a 1-for-5 to start to start the day off in the leadoff spot. I mean, competitive at bats, obviously, gets the 1 hit. He continues to use the entire field. Happy with that. Ramon Arias, 2 hits, the 1 run, 1 walk. He had a great game. Gunnar with the, 0-for-4, but he did have another angry walk. Ryan Mountcastle. This is like the prototypical, like everyone and their mother online was like, why is Ryan Mountcastle batting 4th? Why do we have Ryan Mountcastle in the cleanup spot? This lineup is, horrible with Ryan Mountcastle batting 4th. And then here he is, and he has by far the best day of anyone. I won't say by far, I guess, but 3 hits, 2 doubles, 1 run. Honestly, it felt like he set this. It's not that it felt like he did. He set this team up multiple times to score more runs than they did flat out. And they did it. They were unable to get runs across. They looked like the team that we had seen throughout this season. Let me pull up the official number. Yeah, 1-for-14 with runners in scoring position. I mean, yeah, we can point to Baker. We can point to, that big 8th inning that just, put it out of reach. Obviously, not even, they take the lead and the 3-run lead. It's over after that. You can obviously point to that, but 1-for-14 runners in scoring position. It just felt like every opportunity that they did have. I mean, they left 8 guys on base. I mean, they had opportunity after opportunity. Rhino Hearn, the big fly Earl Weaver special to take the lead 4-3. I really thought that this was going to be the momentum swing. I thought that, okay, here we go. This is going to, propel this team. We're going to come back. They're the comeback kids again. They're showing that sign of life, all of that. Nope. They're unable to get any more runs. Dylan Carlson 0 for 4. Jorge Mateo 1 for 4, 2 steals. Bad center field play. Heston Kjerstad 1 for 4 with the RBI on the fielder's choice that should have been a double play. Heston, it's rough for Heston right now. I think Heston is without a doubt the guy going down when Kowser comes up. In the field, it's raining. It was tough tonight, but he's not the best in the field. And then hitting has been tough. I don't even know what is he batting on the season. He's batting 190 on the season, 307 slugging. That's not going to cut it. They're going to need to they're going to need to move him probably back to AAA, especially when Kowser gets back up. And Chadwick Trump, I was expecting 0 for 4, so I'm not upset about that. Chadwick Trump, if you were expecting something from him, I wasn't not really sure what to he made hard contact. This will be a fantastic name to trivia coming up. On those hey, name a random Oriole, Chadwick Trump, that's going to be fantastic. But overall as contributing right now, doesn't do much. Let's go to the pitching overview. Sagano by far has his worst, I guess not his worst outing. It was just 8 hits, 3 earned runs, 3 strikeouts. Still finds a way to go 5 1/3. Honestly, when Sagano gave you an opportunity, even in an outing in which he did not have his good stuff. Didn't have his A stuff. He didn't have his B stuff. He probably had his C stuff. And he still found a way to escape trouble, minimize damage. The 1 home run with the guy on, obviously, but only giving up 3 runs, fighting for 5 1/3. It was good to see. And joining me is my co-host, Kevin Ostracker. Kevin, a tough one. Tomo gives the guys, he battles, gives them an opportunity, but they Brian Baker, who's been the most consistent Orioles guy out of the bullpen, is of course the one to blow it and end the win streak.
Can the Orioles ever sweep somebody? Are they going to do it ever again?
No.
Can we get a sweep, please? It's been a year since they swept somebody.
Hopefully, you don't want to look too far ahead, but tomorrow or next series. But
yeah, it's tough. Look, they captured momentum for 3 games, and then you're right. Tomo gave him a chance. Again, this is what I've talked about. What we've talked about for the last year is your starter gives up 3 runs. That's more than enough for you to go out there and win this baseball game. And
they had a lead going into what, the 7th inning?
Yeah, and they missed opportunities again tonight. Runners in scoring position was not great for them. Obviously, you get 3 or 4 off of the O'Hearn long ball. But, you load the bases with no outs and you get gifted a run and then can't muster anything else across. And it just kind of felt like one of those nights. I don't have the final tally for runners in scoring position. I don't know if
1 for 14.
1 for 14, yes. So I checked when it was 1 for 13. So not a great night for that. And again, it comes back to bite you where it's a 3-run loss, but you could have easily squandered across 3 more in that.
Oh, gosh. Mountcastle tried to himself get, and it wasn't even they're just getting a bunch of opportunities with a guy on, third, 2 outs, or or a guy on second, 2 outs. This is guy on third, 0, no outs, 1 out. You don't even need a hit, just get a productive out, and you're striking out, you're popping up, you're Heston Kjerstad attempting to ground into a double play. I mean, unfortunately, it felt so much like, okay, here come the comeback kids. Like we are getting that grittiness back when O'Hearn hit that big fly. And then immediately after that, it's like the momentum's gone.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough. And again, like St. Louis they're a decent team, right? I don't think the roster is talented as Baltimore's, but they're getting gritty performances from guys going out there. And, they didn't even have Brendan Donovan in the lineup tonight. So, that's one of the guys that you kind of fear. But Arenado finally does something for them. And, it was on Japanese Heritage Night, which was it was really cool. The Orioles did that, by the way.
Yeah.
The hats were sick. I just want to side note, those are awesome hats. Very disappointed that I wasn't able to snag one of those. But still, it's like Tomo goes out there, gives you a shot. And you mentioned it before I got on. Like, it wasn't his best stuff, right? Like, it wasn't like the Tomo ace performance. But it's kind of been the story for the Orioles starters this year is, the starters will scatter hits around in these games. They'll have 7 hits, 8 hits, 9 hits in 5-6 innings, but then it'll be 2 runs, 3 runs, 4 runs. So the hit numbers are high, which obviously it inflates pitch count, and that obviously is not good when it gets to the bullpen, but that's a different conversation. But he got out of jams and gave you a chance. And yes, he scattered hits around, but I'd rather have that stat line say 8 hits, 3 runs as opposed to 8 hits, 6 runs, because he wasn't able to get out of those jams.
If you're going to get into these situations, get out of them. I mean, how many times this year, Kevin, have we seen the Orioles' inability to escape where it does get to the point where it's okay, you gave up a run, but now it's 2 outs with a guy on second and third. And instead of finding a way to get that out, they give up the back-breaking double, and all of a sudden, instead of giving up 1 run, you gave up 3, and then you stack up 2 of those innings, and instead of like Tomo, who got out of 1 of them, and now you're just down 3 after that, suddenly you're down 4 or 5. You're down 6, and that becomes a whole lot harder to realistically be like, we can come back, from this.
Right, and it's tough because I think at the end of the day, like, when you're looking at this team, it just always feels like it's the big inning that gets them, right?
Yeah.
It's the big inning or early in games. So it's either early in games, the big inning, or the big inning comes early in games. Like it's one of the 3. And you got a little bit of both of that tonight, where obviously the Cardinals get up 3-0 after the second inning. The Orioles are able to fight their way back, take the lead.
Yeah.
But then that 8th inning comes, and Brian Baker, who you're right, has been Mr. Reliable for them out of the bullpen. One of the storylines of the season, honestly, for the Orioles, considering how he's looked in recent seasons. It wasn't his night. And, you were kind of expecting that one of these games was going to go this way for Brian Baker at some point, because naturally that's just what happens. Not everybody is perfect. In fact, nobody is perfect. But, came at a pretty inopportune time. And, after that.
And that's just, but isn't that kind of what this season's been? It's just the inopportune times. Mm-hmm. It's, Brian Baker's been nails this entire season. He's been your most reliable guy, but besides, I guess he's had, 1 or 2, hiccups here and there. But it's like the momentum's completely in your favor. This is an opportunity to get 4 in a row. You go grab 4 in a row, you let this thing continue to snowball, and suddenly momentum, you go see what happens. Instead, now we're sitting here and it almost feels like you're restarting. You're not restarting, and that's the biggest thing. You have to go out there and keep it going and win tomorrow and win the series and keep stacking series wins. But it's also tough to sit there and not think, hey, that was a golden opportunity that we should have capitalized on. Because, Kevin, there are over 100 games left, but they put themselves in a big enough hole to where they don't have the luxury of being like, damn, we could have capitalized there. Every opportunity you have to win a game, you have to capitalize on.
Right, and especially with the hole that they're in, like that, it's true. Like the hole that they're in right now, there are still a lot of games left. I'm not saying there aren't, but we're not talking about a team that's 8 games under right now, or even 10 games under, right? Or what are they, back to 15 now? So, you still have a long way to go here, but in a month that we all expected to be the Orioles' easiest, and maybe they could have made up some ground, they have in fact lost ground. And
remember that dream?
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. Man, get back to 500.
Gosh,
they're on their way to being 500 games under 500.
Good one, Kevin. Good one.
Thanks. It was pretty bad, but I appreciate you. I appreciate your support. So, man.
Kevin, we got to talk. Obviously, we've been talking about just kind of guys and like with roster construction going on. I mean, is it any more obvious that Heston's going to be the guy to go down with Cowser comes up?
Yeah. I mean, he's just not giving you anything right now. And
it's unfortunate because I thought I was
at least offensively, and then he's had, look, to his credit, he's had a couple of good plays in the field over the course of this year. But even still, like, if he's not giving you anything offensively, I mean, when Laureano gets back and Cowser, obviously, when he gets back, there's just a squeeze there. And again, I said it last night or yesterday afternoon. I think that effectively would end his Orioles career. Not because of the fact that, like, look, and he hasn't given the Orioles like anything to, like, he's been given opportunities. Would I like him to play a bit more? Sure. I'd like him to play a bit more.
Yeah, and that's what we've been begging for opportunities. But this was when Cowser goes down. This was what we hoped was going to be the opportunity to break out.
Right. And I think that was the big thing is like, okay, Tony's gone and you can take it back to last year even as well. But, this was the big year. Okay, Tony's gone. O'Neill's going to come in and, hey, O'Neill will go down maybe. And obviously that's rung true, unfortunately. But, we said before the year, like if O'Neill goes down, then okay, Heston's going to have a big opportunity here. And he has been surpassed by Ramon Laureano. And, Carlson has helped the Orioles win a couple games here recently, and I'm sure they value his vet presence on the roster. So, just by process of elimination, I think that Heston is the one. And, we can't sit here and say Heston hasn't gotten any opportunities. He certainly has. And he hasn't been able to show that he deserves to stay, at least over other guys, in those opportunities. Because here's the thing with this team. If you're truly trying to go and write your season, then Heston's not the guy I think right now.
Yeah, I mean, many? Continue.
I was just going to finish and say if you're kind of punting, which I don't think they are. They're fighting. They're trying to get back in this thing, obviously. But I'm saying if at some point it just gets too far gone, at least even more far gone than it is right now, then I just say bring up Mayo, bring up Heston, and just see what they got. Like, just put them in the lineup, see what they have. Move off for guys, although, man, it is crazy to think that I think Mullins is the trade piece they need to move on from as opposed to O'Hearn now, if they're going to trade one of those two guys. I'd be pretty upset if they traded O'Hearn at this point. I did not feel that way 2 weeks ago, but with the fight that he has showed and, just grinding it out, insane run this year, I think if they just continue to hover around 15 games under, it gets worse, and you want to retool, I think you move off Vassetti and you keep O'Hearn. And he right now, he's the leader in that clubhouse. Like, there's not a question about it. And you cannot, in my opinion, get rid of 2 clubhouse leaders in 2 years. You just can't do it.
I mean, yeah, for, the clubhouse aspect of it, I agree. And it all depends on where, we've talked about who you are willing to go re-sign, because listen, if you don't plan on re-signing Seti, then it doesn't make sense to keep him. If you, like you said, if you're 15 games below 500, if you're going to keep Cedric Mullins, meaning past the trade deadline, you got to get a long-term, and not even long-term, a 2-year extension done. Same with O'Hearn, because if you keep these guys, you cannot let them walk for no value. especially with how big kind of a disappointment this season has been, the one thing you could take away is, okay, did we get some sort of value from these guys? The other, scenario where it's like, hey, you had a down season. Oh, you're losing these veteran leaders. Oh, you didn't get anything in return for them. Then it just kind of feels like that, we keep talking about snowball effects, Kevin. That's where suddenly you can find yourself in a pretty big hole.
Yeah, and again, like the farm system is not what it once was. And I think that you need to also be able to get some prospects back, but toe that line of you are a competitive team, or at least, well, not right now, obviously, but like you are trying to be a competitive team in the future. And if you want to toe that line of retool versus rebuild, well, you're going to need prospects, but you also need to get in pieces that can help you win next season. Or if they can miraculously turn this thing around, I do not advise them to be buyers at the deadline, regardless of what happens. I think that at the very maximum, it should be some level of buy and sell, because realistically, I don't think they're going to be able to bring everybody back this offseason. There are going to be losses. I would have to think the approach will be different. Again, people will respond to that and say, have you seen Mike Elias? Like we did it. I'm just like, we were already mad when it happened this offseason. I'd be like through the roof pissed off.
But that's a very good chance it does.
I'm not saying it's not going to happen. I'm just saying that like I say, oh, there's no way Elias is gonna do that again, right? And then you think about it, you're like, well, it's possible.
It just sucks because Kevin also, you got to think about the fact of okay, let's say, they do sell Seti, they do sell O'Hearn, all those guys. Are they going to look at this, team? Is he going to be like, well, we're going to, try to just get value back and let these younger, we're going to let Basayo and them get. I could very well see, and that's, I think, the scary part is we haven't seen them be aggressive. So, do they have it in them? I think that's a big question.
Yeah, the only aggressive move is
Corbin.
It's Corbin. So, that was when the expectation shifted into, now you are a competitor. You have to be aggressive, and they're just not competitors this season. That's why I said, even after a 3-game win streak, you're feeling good, and it's awesome to see them fight, but they still have a long way to go. And tonight we kind of saw them revert back into a lot of the trends that we have been coming on here and struggling through, watching them have over the past calendar year. So it's tough, they'll get reinforcements, and they are certainly reinforcements, but how much is that actually going to help in terms of getting them back to where they need to be this season? I just think it's so deep of a hole. You have to play at such a rampant pace to get even back to 500 that, and plus the bullpen is getting completely thrown out right now. The guys you can see some guys look better. I think Canoa's looked better recently. Dominguez looked great yesterday, but you can tell that fatigue is starting to show a little bit with these guys. And it's because of the early season 2 1/3, 3 2/3 from Morton, from Gibson, Eflin had one of those a couple weeks ago. Every team has them, but you just have so many of those early in the season. You got to rely on your bullpen, and you're getting some fresh arms in. Perez is gone, and you're bringing up others, so some of those miles are off the team. But are they going to have to keep bringing up fresh arms? Is that
and unfortunately, the arms that are tired are the guys you have to rely on. And especially high leverage. Brian Baker, he's been the most consistent. He's also been used so much because he's been the most consistent.
Right. And that's where the cracks start to show. Where, and look, by the way, I just want to make it clear, every team goes through bullpen fatigue. Everybody's bullpen gets tired. But when you have this happen this early in the season, by the time we're talking August and September, I'm worried for a lot of these guys in terms of how much they'll be able to handle. And plus, they have been very cautious with Felix, as they should be. And that has also contributed to you don't want to pitch Felix on back-to-backs every single time. Right? You don't want to do that right now. So that has also extended those windows. And I'm not blaming Felix for that, obviously. It's the natural progression of getting back from that injury. and making sure that you're not tempting fate. But it just becomes the question of what are these guys going to look like when we get a little bit further down this season, because we're already starting to see, even if it's just little cracks right now, we're starting to see a little bit of the show.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest fear. We talk about your bullpen you can have as many great arms as you would like, but at the end of the day, if your starters are putting them in bad situations early, it can derail a bullpen without them really having any say in it.
Yeah. And then at that point, do you just keep bringing up AAA arms? Do you go out and trade for somebody? I'm sure we'll see a couple of waiver claims. Maybe Tiago Vieira makes his way back, and we can. Or Luis F. Castillo gets an appearance.
Yeah, might as well use him. We got him. We might as well use him.
I think he's still injured, isn't he?
Probably.
Also, is Jorge Mateo just an outfielder now? Is that just what we're?
And they're going to keep him on the team because they're convinced that he can play everywhere.
Oh man! Is the game gonna get rained out tomorrow? Is there already something going on with the game and the weather? Did I miss something?
I don't know. Is there?
Let me check the weather for tomorrow.
While I do that, I'm gonna put the link.
Okay, yeah, I guess get Collins going. Yeah, here we go. Supposed to be like a 55% chance of rain.
I just hope. But here's the thing: they gotta play it.
It's if they don't, it's gonna be some random off day. They have to make that game.
Yeah, they do both have an off day on Thursday, but do they really?
Yeah.
That's. Do you?
Is it a getaway day for the Orioles? Are they on the? No, they put the White Sox at home, don't they?
Yeah, but obviously the Cardinals are going to Texas after this.
Yeah. Because then you'd have to do it sometime probably after the All-Star break, I'd assume, right?
Yeah. Have to.
So that'd be tough. So.
Jeez.
All right. Well, you want to get to some of these call-ins the moment we've been waiting for?
Yeah, let's get into some of these call-ins tonight. First off, let's go to Arkansas. We got Joe. Joe, how are we feeling?
Joe, what's going on?
Man. The streak ended.
The streak's over.
Got to start a new
Armando.
one. Got to start a new one.
But that said,
Jorge Mateo.
Yes, even Armando couldn't save us from Jorge Mateo in the outfield. It's fairly sad. But
it is. But they got another opportunity tomorrow,
Before
weather permitting.
Before I give my thoughts on the game, I'm going to eulogize my friend very quickly. Armando, he was a good man. He was into his wrestling. He was a world traveler. He stopped watching the show, though, guys. Apparently, there was an incident in Australia with a koala bear, and he just couldn't take that there was Australia on the show. I don't know what happened, but that's all I know about that. He was a farmer. He farmed for 20 years, retired. He was a Florida farmer, did oranges, an orange farmer. I don't know why, but he was pretty good at it. But they chased him out, just wasn't paying enough. He retired and moved to Michigan. He tried to become a gas station attendant in Michigan. They didn't want him there, so he moved to Texas and unfortunately died in his sleep recently. He was waiting for Heston Kjerstad to actually learn to play baseball again after being teabagged on second base. And it just didn't happen. And we've lost our poor hog man. Our poor hog man just keeps getting hit in the head.
Yeah, Heston's had bad luck. It's been tough for Heston.
So maybe
wish he could
get down to Norfolk. Maybe he stays on the team. But it's been a bad run for Heston, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's been tough.
It's hard to even defend those golf swings now.
Yeah.
Low and inside is not that man's friend.
No.
I don't know what the future holds for Heston in Baltimore, Joe.
He cut his hair.
Say it.
He cut his hair, and all his power went with it.
They just got to grow out the lettuce again, I guess.
So we need a flow. You know what's missing? We need the flow chart, Zach. We need the flow.
They all cut their hair. There's no one to even rate anymore.
No, there's still some decently long.
We need the flow chart. We need the bullpen rest sheets. Pull out all the stops.
Might have to bring them back.
That bullpen rest sheet has been lacking recently, Zach.
Yeah,
Although everybody's tired, I guess that's the bullpen rest sheet.
Yeah,
that is the bullpen rest sheet.
No one's ready.
Yeah.
But long live Armando. He was a great man.
Yeah. Sorry for your loss, Joe. Sorry for your loss.
Joe, appreciate you calling in as always, my friend. We'll catch you,
Joe. Appreciate you, man.
Awesome. Next up, we got Ray. Ray, how we doing?
Ray sitting in the darkness like we all should be right now.
I got a theory.
Oh,
what you got?
Are they playing Mateo so much in the outfield so when Westberg comes back, they're going to justify, well, he could play everywhere?
That's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
Exactly what they're doing.
Making sure I wasn't losing my mind seeing him in left and center every night in the lineup.
No, yeah, that's exactly what they're doing.
Okay. I mean, look, if you want to give Mateo that spot and send Rivera packing, you can use Mateo in a way where he's very fun to watch. Like, 8th inning, you're down 2 runs, you're down a run. Just put him on first, and he's going to swipe a bag. Most of the time, they're not even going to be able to come close unless the guy's got a great pickoff move. It's the force feeding into the lineup with Mateo that I think drives everyone nuts.
Yeah, again, if he's used sparingly, it's okay. As a pinch runner, it's okay, right? You have certain spots as a utility guy that Mateo makes a lot of sense, and teams would use Jorge in that role, but it's just like the Orioles big braining themselves always oh, we're going to try him out in all these different spots and say, hey, he has all this positional versatility, and it gets to a certain point where maybe try it out once or twice and. Sure, I guess if you truly need to do it, but it's just you're not putting your best lineup or your best defense out there when Jorge is playing those types of roles.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
well, we talked about Mitch Keller at the deadline. You were talking about buying and selling. Is Heston going to be that guy to go get Mitch Keller?
I don't know. It's hard to see why a team unless you're looking straight upside would want him right now, which sucks.
Well, I mean the Pirates are a team that I could see gambling on the upside.
I think they just need hitting. That's and they have Bubba Chandler, and they're not trading Skeens. People are out of their mind. He's going to have the same value in 2 years that he has now. They're not trading him this year.
There's the Skeens thing, where it's oh, you can only get. Value for, his value's at an all-time high. You have, like you said, right? He's going to demand the top of the top. Deals can only get so good. At the end of the day, deals can only get so good. The top prospects now are, you're still going to get top prospects in 2 years. It really just depends. I agree with that. So,
Well, and if Elias called about Skeens and if I was, Charrington, it starts with Gunnar Henderson and that's where it ends. And it's not an unreasonable ask.
Yeah, he definitely. I think
Jackson.
I think it would start with Holiday and Basayo. Yeah. I think that would start the package, and then you can, go from there.
And it would be more. Remember last year was Scooble when it was going to be Holiday and Basayo, and it would get it done. Skeens, it would probably be Holiday, Basayo, and then probably Beavers and Fabian.
Yeah, probably maybe even more than that.
Yeah,
that's how good he is. I mean, and for the Orioles, it's obviously for every team, Paul Skeens is the dream to get the ace of your pitching staff. But you're right, there's no reason for Pittsburgh to trade him right now.
No, Keller, but Keller's gonna because I know Jones is hurt, but they're out of it. Keller's the odd man out, and they don't love to spend money, kind of like the Orioles historically. They could get his money off the books and then go try to extend one of the guys they have now. So that's just the theory behind Heston. And I still believe Heston's got 25 to 30 home run power. It's just I think he's going to be blocked here.
Yeah. it just turns into like, is this the place for Heston to realize his potential? It's the same conversation with Mayo. Like they're two talented players. They both have potential, but is Baltimore the best spot for them? And if I'm Kobe right now, I'm pissed off at kind of how I've been yanked up and down. And for Heston, like he's gotten a lot more opportunities than Kobe has. But if you're looking at trade pieces for the Orioles who are going to go maybe get them something back, and not just like a lower level player, Basayo's off limits. Like you're not going to trade Basayo. So then your next step down is Heston or Kobe. And so I think that one, if not both of those guys, are going to be used in the trade at some point. I don't know which, I don't know who, I don't know what, for who, but that's kind of the feeling I've been getting recently.
Who do you think's better? Just curious, guys. Of those two? My opinion, but I'm just asking.
Mayo or Kerstead? I think Mayo's got the highest upside.
Yeah, I think. I mean, Mayo still needs a lot of work, but I think Mayo to me will be better. I just think the upside is there.
Mayo's just very, very raw. It's kind of like when you see a basketball player at a young age.
Yeah,
it's true. Like he needs a lot of work. He definitely needs a lot of work. There's no.
But what they should do is they should just stick Mayo at first base instead of just yanking him up and down. Because I'm not a Mayo believer. Like I don't think Mayo is going to be the player a lot of people like you guys do. But if you think he is, stick him at first base. Like even in the minor leagues, if you're going to keep him down there, and just let him focus on developing his hitting and play one position.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. I think it's like when last year they had Holiday, going up and down, playing second, playing short. Just let the kid get at bats in a single spot and then go from there.
And I think Holiday, our best defensive lineup would be Holiday at short, Gunnar at third. But I don't think Gunner's ever moving from short.
No, I just don't think they ever move Gunnar from short. That's for sure.
I agree.
Yeah. Ray, appreciate you as always.
We're going to turn some lights on.
Yeah. I'll get to you later, my friend.
Awesome. Peace out, Ray.
And let's head into our last call. And we got Steve. Steve, what's up?
Yep.
They had a chance.
I'll give Sagano credit for not completely blowing up.
Yeah.
Because, what was it, 32 pitch first inning?
Yeah, 32 pitches and found a way out of it.
And then the rest of his outing, he shut him down.
Yeah.
Bullpen failed us again.
And it sucks even more because it's not even it was, your most reliable guy. And he just,
Baker.
Yep. It's frustrating because you sit there and you felt like that was an opportunity to just grab momentum and keep it rolling, and you just throw it away.
But the upside is you go into tomorrow with Povich on the bump and a chance to win the series.
If you can win series, it helps. I mean, again, you're at the point kind of now where even winning a series is only your one game better, but you got to start somewhere here. The hole is just so deep where, if they keep winning one game and then they'll lose a series here, May is an easy month. Like, how do you assess where they are and what you want to do at the deadline? Because I think, to me, if you're kind of still hovering maybe a little better and you don't pick a direction, I think that can honestly maybe hurt you more than it can help you.
Absolutely. And then you got a team like the White Sox coming in for this weekend, and it's like, I don't see how you don't sweep them.
I mean, you have to.
But
must. Especially if you got to win tomorrow and you got to sweep them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And can this front office give Ryan O'Hearn the extension he's well earned?
He's definitely earned it. That's for damn sure he's earned it. I mean, if it's going to go to somebody, I mean, Ryan O'Hearn's a top 5-10 hitter in baseball right now. I mean,
exactly. I think his current average is like top 10 in all of baseball.
He is
top 15 even.
incredible this year. He's doing incredible things.
But on that note, before I take off, ties were postponed tonight.
Yeah.
Playing 2 on Thursday. Guess who has off from work and is probably going to that doubleheader?
Oh, all right. Let's go, Steve.
And I'm still going Sunday for my birthday.
Boom. Love it. Love it.
That'll
Love it.
be
Happy early birthday.
And by the way, Cowser Westy being in Norfolk.
Yeah, that's going to be fun.
It'll be awesome.
But I'll say goodnight. Maybe see you guys tomorrow. We'll see.
Awesome. All right, Steve.
Have a good one,
Appreciate
Steve.
you.
We'll catch you tomorrow. Awesome. Before we head out of here, we got Laura. Laura, how we doing?
Oh, we got the cat. Laura featuring the cat. I love it.
Yes, apparently Astro is my daughter's cat because she's home from college this summer.
Okay, very nice.
Astro is trying to obviously make his debut here.
Oh, let's go. We are a cat-friendly show here, so I'm all about it.
Exactly. So I'm wearing my shirt just for Fernie because Fernie asked me to wear the shirt. But it says there, the O's are fine-ish or fin-ish. And keeping in mind, I stole that from Jabo. I admit it. Jabo posted it.
That's
so.
all right. Well, that's a good one, Jabo. That's a good one.
I mean, they were in it till they weren't.
And that's what makes it more frustrating. They had every opportunity.
But the thing is, and what we really kind of saw tonight is that bullpen is tired, and we're wearing those arms out, and that's. I don't know how to address that because again, we can't get our starters to to be like Tarek Skubal and do a complete game or even get to 7-8 innings in a game. Tommy Sugar's probably the one who's gotten the closest to. I think he went 7 innings one game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
7-1. And then who else went 7? There was one other, I think, or someone went into the 7th. I think Dean did randomly once.
Okay. But that's going to kill us. That's going to kill us because we can't keep trotting this bullpen out night after night after night after night like this.
Yeah, I mean it's difficult because and that's what honestly makes losses like these more annoying is like Tomo gives you a chance. He doesn't go deep into the game, but he spreads the hits around. Obviously, when you get hit like that, it's going to up your pitch count, so you're not going to go as deep into the game. But then when the bullpen does blow it, and again, we know why. They're tired, and sometimes the pitches aren't there they need to hit. But when you waste those opportunities, it's going to be tough. So I will say it's been better for the starters going deeper into games than it has been like earlier. And, anything would have been better than what we saw earlier in the season. But even still, there are guys still going deeper into games it's been a little better. But it's just, it was so bad early on that, you got to wonder how these guys are feeling right now.
Got one thing left to say. We are 20 games away from losing 55.
I don't know what the threshold is in terms of when, the organization makes the decision of
Not sure if
buyers or
108's
sellers.
in the cards right now.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what did you say, Zach?
Not sure if 108 wins is in the cards right now.
108.
Just saying.
Laura.
Still fine.
Those are fine. Appreciate you as always, and we'll catch you next time. You have a good one.
Awesome. Appreciate you, Laura.
It's tough to feel like this season is like we're officially a third in to the year. Like
I don't know actually. How many games are they in right now? They are 50. No, 59, 50.
So it's like a third. Yeah.
No, 54.
Okay, so it's
54 games.
not quite yet to a third, but you're approaching a third very quickly. So
Yeah. I mean, we were talking about it after a fourth of the way through.
yeah,
Like,
it's.
yeah.
But anything else, Kevin? Well, just a disappointing game.
Yeah, disappointing. That's really all you can chalk it up to. Go out there, win the series tomorrow. Got to start somewhere, I guess. Still a lot of games left. So
Still a lot of games
we're gonna be talking about them here, win or lose.
Yeah.
So,
And you know what, Kevin? Win tomorrow. Go win tomorrow. Win tomorrow and take the series, and things are going to feel a lot better.
it will. I mean, that's what you need to do right now. So we'll see.
Exactly. So we'll be back at it after tomorrow's game. Orioles with a tough loss tonight when it looked like they could have come back. But win the series tomorrow, and you're back on track. We'll be back after the game tomorrow as the Orioles look to take the series versus the Cardinals, the red-hot Cardinals. I almost called them the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah,
We'll be next time.
Hey, Kyler Murray can go hit in that lineup if you want.
Luis Torrens.
Is that your guy?
Yeah, Luis Torrens. Luis Torrens. He was our taxi squad guy.
You did out of nowhere. I'm gonna go with Jake Arrieta.
I love it. I mean, open fresh wounds, but